Hey guys, I'm John Barklow, and today I want to talk to you about backcountry water. Now, water is critical for both your performance and your survival in the backcountry. Our survival priorities state that water is our second priority. We're not going to be able to survive more than 3 days-ish in the backcountry without water. So it's critical in our planning that we identify what our water sources are going to be. If we don't have water sources in a particular area or basin or drainage that we can access to continue to hydrate, then we're not going to be able to spend very much time there. Now, once you identify those water sources, you need to figure out how you're going to either purify or filter those water sources to make them safe and palatable for you to consume. Now, I've had Giardia twice in my life, and I can tell you it is a humiliating experience. One time it was down in the Amazon, and it was from the boat we were on not having good hygiene of how they were cleaning their cooking utensils. Another time was on a remote horseback hunt for moose up in British Columbia, where we were drawing, unfortunately, from water sources that happened to be contaminated, either from the stock we had or from the moose in the area. Either way, it is not something that I ever want to have back. And from somebody that prior to that had taken water directly from streams and other backcountry water sources without ever considering any kind of purification or filtration, I will never do that again. And so the thing is, this is an unforced error if you go out there and you make yourself sick because you haven't planned for this. Now, the three things that we're really looking to protect ourselves from in this wild water are protozoa, which are going to be your Giardias. So everybody's probably heard of Giardia. The next is bacteria. This is going to be your E. coli's. And then the third are viruses, something like hepatitis A. So these are the things we're most concerned about. The two that we're concerned about the most in North America are going to be Giardia and the E. coli. We're not as worried about the viruses such as hepatitis A, unless we're in very remote areas, underdeveloped areas, third world countries that don't have great sanitation. So how do we solve for this? Well, we have two really good methods. One is purification. Purification is going to take care of all three issues. They're going to contaminate or decontaminate from the protozoa, the bacteria, and the viruses. Now, these are going to be some of your easiest, simplest, even lightest options. And these are things like chlorine dioxide tabs and drops, and also UV light treatment like the SteriPen. These are very popular treatments, especially the SteriPen. The thing is, with a purification with a SteriPen or the drops or the tabs, is that none of those treatments are going to remove any particulate from the water. So if you're drawing your water from a muddy water source or a silty glacial-fed river up in Alaska, that is not going to filter out the contaminants or the particulate. So that's something that you want to consider. Do you want to strain the water through, some type of clothing, like an old T-shirt you have, or a handkerchief, or something like that? Or you're going to have to chew through a lot of your water because it has that particulate. But these are quick and easy methods. And I always carry some chlorine dioxide tablets in my Possibles pouch and some more in my optics harness, just in case I run across, say on a stalk, I'm away from my pack and I need some water. I just want to make sure that I can purify that water and kind of cover my bases. Now, filtration is only going to take care of the protozoa, again, the Giardia, or the bacteria, say the E. coli, but this is going to be great for North America. We're really not worried about anything else in the backcountry of North America. Now, filtration of any kind is going to require some type of effort on the user. So we need to be able to collect water and have the ability to put either the water in a bag and run it through a gravity-fed system, or put a filter in a body of water and then filter from that. So if you're at altitude, if you're tired, just the manual pumping of the filters can be a bit of a chore. And as those filters, say, maybe they get clogged from a really dirty water source. Maybe you've got to pull from that elk wallow. Maybe you've got to pull from that more muddy stream and say the spring like we have behind us. You might need to back flush those filters, things like that. But you're going to be able to get the particulate out. That's what the filter provides. And so if you do have that glacial silt, if you have that mud, if you have those bugs in the water, that filter is going to pull those out. And so the water that you get in your bottle or your bladder is going to look and be very clean, and then you can enjoy it like that. Now, the third way to purify water is through boiling. Now, this is the most inefficient method. One, it requires a stove. Two, it requires fuel, and you're going to have to plan that fuel consumption in advance, or you're going to get caught short on your trip. And then third, boiling water on a hot day is not conducive to hydration because you're not going to want to drink it, so you'll have to take the time to cool it down. Now, for whatever reason, that is what you're forced to do. You want to make sure that you boil that water for 1 minute if you're below 6,500 feet, and for 3 minutes if you're above 6,500 feet in elevation. So when you're planning your trip and you're doing your route plan and you're looking at your new area and you're flying over Google Earth, it's critically important that you not only plan your water sources so that you can stay in that environment, but that you also understand what those water sources are going to be. You're going to have to take your best guess. Is it going to be snow melt from a snowfield or a glacier? Is it going to be from a small creek or a stream that's maybe glacial fed or muddy? Or am I going to be looking for small seeps in the rocks? And this, combined with those particular locations, are going to drive which method I pick, because there's not one that's perfect for every trip. So take these things into consideration. Backcountry water is vital for your health, your performance, and your survival in the backcountry.